So then I discuss what's the meaning of materiality levels and why we are having separate materiality levels in a statutory audit engagement, and then what are the basis we can use. Once you are using your basis, what's your considerations, stakeholders and other parties we need to focus, right? According to you can decide your materiality levels. Again, the usage of different materiality levels we discuss, and if you are in a group environment, what are the repercussions, what are the usages related to materiality levels. Further, we understood that materiality level is a number we are based on our sample selection, our performance, issuing the audit opinion, but once you are using this number, we need to focus about the qualitative aspect of this conclusion. So that's the important part. So with this understanding, we are moving forward to identification of significant account disclosures and significant class of transaction. So that is the, we can say that as auditor, after calculating materiality levels, we can move forward to do this step, right. So we have discussed this materiality level calculation in detail. Api auditor kenek vidiyata materiality level calculate karanne kohomada, ඊට පස්සේ basis decide කරන්න කොහොමද, detail calculate understanding එක ගත්තා. ඊට පස්සේ අපි ඉස්සරහට audit process එකේ යන ගමන් ඉන්නේ. So then once you are going through this audit journey, after doing materiality calculation, next what we are going to do. So that is the area we are going to focus now. So that's about identifying significant account disclosures and significant class of transactions, right. So as auditor, as we discussed in the introduction to assurance engagement, so then once we are dealing with draft financial statements, we have three elements. What are they? Basically account balances, and then disclosures and transactions. So then financial statement consisted with these account balances and disclosures. So what are the examples? Account balances, P&L balances, asset balances and cash flow related balances. Different balances are there, plus we have disclosures as well. And as auditor, we are responsible to audit these two things plus the transactions. Why we are worrying about these transactions? Transaction means a company operating during the period. Operating during the period means there are transactions during the period. Because of this transaction, end of the period, we have account balances and disclosures. Without having understanding about transaction, you can't issue audit opinion. So then as auditor, we have to audit all those three aspects: account balances, disclosures and transaction. And then again we have a question, do we need to audit 100%? Answer is no, we don't need to do 100%. So then, so what we need to check? So then we have to do a selection. What are they? We have to select significant accounts, significant disclosures and significant class of transactions. As auditor, we have to identify what are the significant to stakeholders. Once you are issuing your audit opinion for this draft financial statement, firstly you should know stakeholders and their requirement according to their decisions, and according to the usage of their perspective and expectation, you can decide what are the significant accounts and significant disclosures plus significant class of transaction. දැන් ඔය draft financial statement base කරගෙන අපි audit එක initiate කරලා තියෙනවා. අපි business එක understand කරලා materiality level cal කරලා, so then draft financial statement base කරගෙන audit පටන් ගන්න කලින් අපි මොකද කරන්නේ? audit කරන්න යන areas තුනක් තියෙනවා අපි. අපි account set එකක් financial statement හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ P&L balances, cash flow balances, cash related other balances, and then equity related balances plus disclosures. Disclosures example, here we have related party disclosure, earning per share disclosure, and contingent liability disclosure. Other than that, we have list of disclosures, right? I have mentioned here some of the examples. So then some of the common account balances, other than that, if it is a different nature of a company, we have different set of balances. So if we are referring a company like dealing with biological asset, you may have set of different account balances. It may be bearer biological asset, consumable biological asset, agricultural produce, right? So if it is a bank finance company, you may have different asset and liabilities. If it is insurance company, so the balance sheet and the P&L is totally different with other companies. Likewise, so you may have set of account balances and disclosures, right? So then what you have to do is, as auditor, you have to select or select කරගන්න ඕන මොනවාද significant account and significant disclosures. ඒ කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? ඔයාගේ stakeholders වලට important relevant account balances ටික මොනවද? disclosures ටික මොනවද? ඇයි එහෙම කරන්න ඕන? අපි සේරම බලන්න ඕන නැහැ. මොකද අපි certificate එකක් දෙන්න නෙමෙයි යන්නේ. certificate එකක් දෙන්න නෙමෙයි යන්නේ. අපි true and fair view එකක්. assurance report එකක් දෙන්න යන්නේ. So we are not supposed to audit 100%. Because of that, we are supposed to select what are the significant accounts and disclosures. ඔන්න අපි ඒ ටික select කරගන්නවා. අපි select කරගන්නේ කොහොමද? So that is the core content you have to learn. As auditor, how you are going to identify what are the significant account and significant balances to this particular company, this particular year, this particular period, right? So what are the significant account and disclosures? කොහොමද අපි identify කරගන්නේ? So then obviously we are having a maturity level. So then we can use first, as a first item, we can use maturity levels. We can use maturity levels. Maturity levels can be used. What is the maturity level normally you have to use? We are dealing with here balances and disclosures. These are financial statement element, right? Accession level. It means you can use TE for your asset threshold. So then, are you going to strictly depend on the TE only? No. So we have to use other aspects as well. So then, so what are the other aspects? It may be related party balances. Related party balances. You are having maturity levels now. Based on the maturity levels, you can select significant accounts and disclosures. ඔයා maturity level එකේ මොකක්ද අපි use කරන්නේ? අපිට TE එක තමයි use කරන්නේ. මොකද අපි මෙතන මේ selection එක කරන්නේ. මම maturity level cal කරනකොට කිව්වා ඇයි අපි maturity level cal කරන්න හේතුව? different maturity levels තියෙන හේතුව. Do a kind of a selection. දැන් අපි selection එකක් කරන්න යන්නේ. Selection එක කරන්න යන්නේ මොකක්ද? So that we have set of account balances and disclosures, we are going to select what are the significant account and disclosures, right? To do that, we can use maturity levels. Maturity levels use කරන්න ඕන. මොන maturity level එකද use කරන්නේ අපි? අපි use කරන්නේ TE. It means the performance materiality. Performance materiality. So then accession level maturity can be used for the balances selection, right? අපි එතකොට මේ maturity level එක විතරක්ද significant account and disclosures select කරන්න use කරන්නේ නෑ. That's the kind of a numerical value, right? Based on the numbers we can select, we can use as the basis the TE, right? Other than that, a balances disclosures, related party related balances ද එතකොට ලොකු risk එකක් තියෙනවා ඊට පස්සේ අපි මේක regulatory relationship එකක් තියෙනවද මම කලින් example එකක් ගත්තා අපි insurance company එකක්ද bank එකක්ද leasing company එකක්ද කියන එක අනුව specific rules and regulations තියෙනවා එහෙම නැත්නම් අපිට company එකක් විදියට common laws and regulations තියෙනවා ඒකට අදාළ relate වෙන balance එකක්ද tax related balance එකක්ද එහෙමනම් ඒක තව අපිට qualitative aspect එකක් තියෙනවා තව මේකට manual involvement එක වැඩිද manual involvement right and debit credit number of entries may be millions of entries but end balance may be very minimal so then number of entries we are using for that account likewise we have to use numerical aspect the quantitative basis as well as qualitative basis for select the significant account and significant disclosures අපි මොකද්ද කරන්න ඕන audit එකේ audit opinion එක issue කරන්න audit පටන් ගන්න කලින් මොන account balances disclosures ද audit කරන්න කියලා select කරගන්න use කරන basis ටික තමයි මේ අපි කතා කරන්නේ කොහොමද base කරගන්න ඕන ඒකේ regulatory related balance එකක්ද disclosure එකක්ද ඊට පස්සේ related party related එකක්ද and then ඒක අපේ මොනවාද IT system එකෙන් automated entries යන account එකක්ද ඒකේ debit credit entries ගොඩක් යන account එකක්ද manual involvement එකක් තියෙන estimate related account එකක්ද actuarial valuation related account එකක්ද කියන basis අපි use කරලා මේක high risk account එකක්ද significant to stakeholders කියන එක evaluate කරලා තමයි අපි balances ටික select කරගන්න වෙන්නේ ඊට පස්සේ අපේ regulatory financial statement framework එකේ requirement එකක් තියෙනවා නම් මෙන්න මේ disclosure එක minimal මොනවාද minimum disclosure එකක් විදිහට මේක දෙන්න ඕන කියලා it's a significant disclosure for that particular entity or that particular industry so then biological asset standard එක relate වෙන company එකක් නම් biological asset valuation level එක මොකක්ද level 2 or 3 2 or 3 නම් අපි මොනවද observable inputs අපි disclose කරන්න ඕන observable inputs වල sensitivity එක disclose කරන්න ඕන එතකොට ඒ requirement minimum disclosure විදියට දීලා තියෙනවා නම් අපි ඒක significant disclosure එකක් විදියට ගන්න ඕන එතකොට අපිට clear financial statement audit කරන්න කලින් significant accounts and significant disclosures කියන areas ටික අපි select කරගන්න ඕන ඊට පස්සේ එතනින් පස්සේ මේ ටික audit කරලා ඉවරුනාම audit process එක ඉවරයිද නෑ අපි මොකද significant account disclosures plus we have another set what is that significant class of transactions significant classes of transactions right අපිට significant accounts and disclosures we have countable right we can count these things so what are the significant accounts and disclosures so that we have a set cash and bank trade receivable revenue likewise we can count down these disclosures and balances අපිට balance sheet එකක් මතක් කරගත්තොත් statement of income මතක් කරගත්තොත් equity statement cash flow මතක් කරගත්තොත් we can get some of the numbers right balances we can count these things through that we can select so how about the transactions once you are going through transactions can you count that so it's really difficult why so then if it is operating company ඒක කියන්නේ operate වෙන්නේ නැති company එකක් නම් මේ balances move වෙලත් නැහැ transaction උත් නැහැ එහෙමනම් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ ඒතකොට audit එක දවසින් දෙකෙන් කරලා ඉවර කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි මොකද transaction නැහැ හැබැයි transaction තියෙන organisation එකක් imagine it's a food city if it is a bank if it is a insurance company how many transaction within a year so then මේ වෙලාවෙත් bank එකක transaction වෙනවා මේ වෙලාවෙත් food city එක restaurant එකක transaction වෙනවා. So then in a year how many ATM transaction for bank? So that can you imagine, it's millions and millions of transaction, right? So then how we are going to select significant transaction? Is that possible to select significant transaction? Very difficult, right? So then what we are going to do? So we have a list of transaction here, list of transaction during the period. Based on that, we are going to class these transactions. We are going to cluster this transaction. අපි අවුරුද්ද ඇතුළු වුණු transaction සේරම එකතු කරලා අපි කොටවල් වලට කරන්න try කරනවා. අපි classes අඳුර ගන්නවා. අපි classes අඳුර ගන්නකොට කොහොමද අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් classes අඳුරගන්නේ normally? දැන් අපි school එකක් ගත්තොත් අපි classes අඳුරගන්නේ කොහොමද? school එකේ grade 1, grade 2, then scholarship exam class and then A level. ඒ වගේ classes අපි බෙදලා තියෙනවා. මොනවද? ඒක education purpose. එතකොට ඒ කොහොමද අපි class කරලා තියෙන්නේ? Based on similar characteristics. එයාලගේ age එක, එයාලගේ knowledge එක base කරගෙන තමයි එතන class කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේ තමයි අපි ඕනම තැනක class කරනවා නම් based on the characteristic of the transaction we are going to class these transactions. කොහොමද මේ characteristic base කරන් transaction class කරන්නේ? මේ class එක අපි මොනවද කියලා හිතුවොත් payroll කියලා. payroll. Here we have payroll, right? payroll class එක කියලා හිතුවොත් ඒ class එකේ ළමයි කවුද? ඒ class එකේ තියෙන elements මොනවද? අපිට වෙන්න පුළුවන් salaries වෙන්න පුළුවන්. අපිට වෙන්න පුළුවන් EPF ETF වෙන්න පුළුවන්. gratuity වෙන්න පුළුවන්. allowances වෙන්න පුළුවන්. bonus වෙන්න පුළුවන්. gratuity payments වෙන්න පුළුවන්. salary related, employee related, whatever the payments we can include this class, right? So then තව class එකක් ගන්නවා. මේක අපි ගන්නවා capital expenditure related class එක. capital expenditure කියලා ගත්තොත් මොනවද? PPE purchase වෙන්න පුළුවන්, investment property purchase වෙන්න පුළුවන්, නැත්නම් intangible let's say software purchase වෙන්න පුළුවන්, on the other hand biological asset purchase වෙන්න පුළුවන්, asset purchase වෙන්න පුළුවන්, right? එතකොට cost of PP&E and depreciation, revaluation, and then disposal gain, amortization, impairment, all those things we can consider as capital expenditure class. Capital expenditure, right? Likewise, you have to identify classes. එතකොට අවුරුද්ද ඇතුළු වුණු තේරම transaction ටික ඔයා list කරලා classes ටික identify කරගන්න. ඊට පස්සේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් එනවා. So are we going to test all those classes? Same answer. We are not supposed to issue a certificate. I am repeating this concept, right? We are not going to issue a certificate. So we are not going to test 100%. It means we are not supposed to check all these classes. So what we have to do? We have to identify what are the significant classes of transactions. ඒකට අපි කියනවා Scott's identification. අපි මේ classes ටික හදලා මොනවද significant classes කියලා identify කරගන්න ඕන. කොහොමද දැන් significant account and disclosures අපි කතා කර කොහොමද අඳුනගන්නේ කියලා. classes අඳුනගන්නේ කොහොමද? ඔයාගෙන් අහුවොත් හරි statutory audit එකක කොච්චර significant class of transaction තියෙන ඕනද කියලා. ඔයාට මේකේ 5ක් විතර 6ක් විතර නෑ 8ක් විතර තියෙන එහෙම කියලා කියන්න බෑ. So it depends on the nature of the organization. It depends on the significant accounts and disclosures of the organization. Why me classes බලන්න class කරගන්න reason එක? ඔයා audit කරන්න යන්නේ මොකක්ද? මේ account balances and disclosures. එතකොට account balances and disclosures ආපු විදිය බලන්න තමයි මේ transaction බලන්න අපි try කරන්නේ. ඒ accounts balances ආපු විදිය බලන්න transaction class කරගන්නව නම් අපි account balances and disclosures significant ටික identify කරගෙන නම් ඉන්නේ. significant classes ටික identify කරගෙන නම් ඉන්නේ. once you are identifying your Scots, these significant accounts and disclosures should be covered, right? Is that clear? එක පොඩ්ඩක් අමාරුයි තේරුම් ගන්න. කොහොමද? ඔයා දැන් payroll class එක අඳුනගත්තා. ඔයා capital expenditure class එක අඳුනගත්තා. මේ classes වලින් අපි දැන් හදන්නේ මොකක් කරන්නද? significant class අඳුරගන්න. significant class අඳුරගන්න කොහොමද අපි අඳුරගන්නේ? significant class අඳුරගන්නේ අපි අඳුරගත්ත classes set එකෙන් මේ significant accounts relate වෙනවා නම් ඒ class එකකට ඒව අපි අඳුරගන්නවා Scots කියලා. Scots කියලා අඳුරගන්න. significant class of transaction. දැන් auditor විදියට අපි ආපහු recall කරගත්තොත් auditor විදියට මොනවද බලන්න ඕන? account balances, transactions and disclosures before we are issuing audit opinion. So we need to perform audit procedures to verify this. එතකොට අපි 100% බලන්නේ නැහැ කියලා අපි දැන් select කරගත්තා. මොනවද select කරගත්තේ? significant accounts and significant disclosures. significant class of transaction. දැන් auditor විදියට අපි draft financials අරගෙන material level calc කරලා මොනවද අපි significantly බලන්න ඕන account balances and transaction කියලාත් identify කරගෙන අපි ඒකට relate වෙන Scots ටිකත් identify කරගෙන තියෙනවා. right? ඒක ඒ balances ආවේ කොහොමද කියලා බලන transaction process එකත් identify කරගෙන තියෙනවා. මේ අපි Scots වලට කියන තව නම් තියෙන audit field එකේදී. ඒක තමයි standard word එක. standard එකේ refer කරන්නේ. අපි මේකට කියනවා systems කියනවා. processes කියනවා. දැන් අපි audit training යනවා නම් ඒ colleague කෙනෙක්ගෙන් අහනකොට මේ දවස්වල systems කරන්නේ, process කරන්නේ කියලා තමයි කියන්නේ. එතකොට අපි process audit කරන්න කියලා කියනවා නම් මොකක්ද කරන්නේ යාලා? significant transaction identify කරලා ඒක ස්ටඩි කරන ගමන් ඉන්නේ. ස්ටඩි කරන විදිය කොහොමද කියලා අපි ඉස්සරහට කතා කරනවා. මොකක්ද ඒකට යූස් කරන wording එකේ process එක කියන්නේ. So then here what I want to emphasize is as auditor we need to select significant account balances and disclosures and significant class of transactions. එතකොට significant account balances and disclosures කොහොමද select කරගන්නේ කියලා අපි criteria ටිකක් discuss කරා. significant class of transaction identify කරගන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා discuss කරා. අපි minimum Scots identify කරගන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා කතා කරේ. So the once you are identifying class of transactions, so then whatever the significant accounts and disclosures should be covered. Up until that you have to recognize Scots. එතකොට ඔයා කියන්න ඕන කොහොමද? ඔයා Scots identify කරලා ඉවර වුණාම සේරම significant accounts and disclosures cover වෙන විදියට ඔයා Scots identify කරගන්න ඕන auditor කෙනෙක් විදියට. right? So that's the main process. එතකොට අපි Scots identify කරගන්නේ මොකක්ද reason එක? ඊට පස්සේ step එකේදී ඔයාට තේරෙනවා. So what's the reason we are identifying Scots and how we are linked with this with the risk assessment. Right? We can go forward. We are moving to the risk assessment of a audit now. So then we have that materiality level calculation. According to that we selected what are the balances we are going to audit and the Scots identification completed, right? So now we are going to do that risk assessment procedures. Risk assessment, this word we have already discussed in the controls and internal control framework. So then risk mean always risk can be defined as the expectation deviation from the expectation. So then we are doing risk based auditing, right? So then we have a kind of a risk relating to audit engagement? What is the risk we are dealing with? Basically, you can understand, once you are issuing audit opinion, so then once you are signing your audit opinion, your expectation is, according to your expectation, you are issuing this opinion, right? So then your opinion may be incorrect. So then you can issue a true and fair views through your opinion, but still this financial statement consists with material misstatements. So then your opinion may be incorrect. ඔයාගේ expectation එක මොකක්ද? හරි opinion එකක් issue කරන එක. ඔයා හරි opinion එකක් issue කරනවා, true and fair කියලා කියනවා, but material misstatement තියෙද්දි. ඒක එතකොට මොකක්ද අපි කියන්නේ? auditor ට තියෙන risk එක. අපි audit එකක් plan කරන්න කලින් මේ auditor ට තියෙන risk එක assess කරන්න ඕන කියන එකේ requirement එක ඔයාට දැන් indicate වෙන්න ඕන. Why? Before you are planning audit procedures, before you are doing your audit planning activities, it is a must to evaluate your risk, assess your risk before you are starting your audit field work. Before you are starting your audit execution, you have to do your risk assessment as auditor. That's a key part of a audit engagement. Whatever the audit engagement, whatever the assurance engagement, it may be limited assurance, it may be high level assurance, whatever the assurance engagement, you have to perform risk assessment, right? So then risk assessment to two different levels as per SLA US 315, SLA US 315 well clearly කියනවා you have to do your risk assessment procedures for two different level. What is that? For overall financial statement level and to the accession level. Accession levels of class of transactions, account balances and disclosures, right? Overall financial statement. So as a whole overall financial statement level, we should evaluate your risk. We should evaluate your risk whether we are going to accept this client or not. So then what's the risk level of overall company? So at the planning stage, you have to do a risk rating to the entity, right? Whether it's high, low, medium or moderate, right? If it is a high risk engagement, we can't actually we can reject to accept the engagement. So according to, we have to evaluate the risk for overall financial statement level and the accession level. So then what do you mean by accession level risk? Accession level risk. We have to evaluate accession level risk. As we discussed in the earlier discussions, once you are dealing with this audit subject, we have different levels. Once you are discussing controls, we discuss financial statement level controls, accession level controls. Once we are discussing risk assessment, again we are discussing financial statement level risk and then accession level risk. What is the accession level? You can understand here. So then here we have financial statement, right? Financial statement, 5 elements, right? Financial statement as a whole, if you are giving an opinion or if you are giving a conclusion for overall financial statement, we can say that overall financial statement. So then we have a risk whether this correct or not. This financial statement consists with misstatement or not. That's the financial statement level risk, right? So then we can divide this financial statement to small parts. So that's kind of a balance, right? Balance and disclosures. අපි financial statement balances විදියට සහ disclosures විදියට පොඩි පොඩි කෑලි වලට කඩන්න පුළුවන්. So then that's kind of a normal thing, right? So the once you are going through a financial statement ඔයාට balances තියෙනවා, disclosures තියෙනවා. එතකොට මේ financial statement මේ balances disclosures. So financial statement හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ balances සහ disclosures වලින්. You can understand very easily, right? And then we can say that this is the balance level. This is the financial statement level. So then again we are discussing about another level. What is that? This is accession level. Accession level. Accession level. What is that? So then for this balance, whatever the balance, whatever the disclosures, you have particular accessions, right? Particular accessions. Particular accession may be existence or occurrence or completeness. Those are the accessions. Accessions, අපි accessions ගැන කතා කරා. Controls ගැන කතා කරනකොට accessions ගැන කතා කරා. මොකක්ද අපි කතා කරේ? Accessions are the confirmation given by the management to the public. Management is responsible for these accessions. අපි account balance එකක් disclosure එකක් අපි publish කරනවා කියන්නේ, sign කරලා issue කරනවා කියන්නේ management එක අපි message එකක් දෙනවා public එකට. මොකක්ද? අපි හිතමුකෝ මෙතන තියෙන්නේ let's say financial statement තියෙනවා. Financial statement වල අපි ගන්නවා statement of financial position, right? Statement of financial position. You know that there's a balance cash and bank. Cash and bank balance, that is, let's say 50,000. This is the financial statement level. This is the balance level. So then අපි auditor විදියට financial අපි question එකක් අහනවා, balance sheet එක okay ද? balance sheet එක correct ද? හරිද? true and fair ද balance sheet එක? අපි කියනවා yes, true and fair. ඒක වරදින්න තියෙන probability එකට කියනවා financial statement level risk. ඒක අපි evaluate කරන්න, right? ඊට පස්සේ අහනවා අපි balance එක, cash balance එක, is that correct or not? Is that fair or not? So then we can say that it's true and fair. කියලා කිව්වම ඒක වරදින්න තියෙන probability එකට කියනවා balance level risk එක. අපි එතනින් නවතිනවද auditor විදියට? නෑ. balance එක හරිද වැරදිද කියලා නෙමෙයි. අපි we are going to another step. What is that step? We are evaluating the accessions. So then cash and bank balance is a balance sheet asset balance. For asset balance we have set of accessions. It is existence, right? Valuation, completeness, right and obligation, presentation and disclosure, right? We have set of accessions. So then to accession level we have to calculate the risk. මොකක්ද ඒ risk එක? දැන් management එක කියනවා balance sheet එකේ 50,000 cash තියෙනවා කියලා, 50,000 exist වෙනවා කියනවා, valuation එක හරි කියනවා, completeness හරි කියනවා. අපේ risk එක මොකද්ද? එයා හරි කියන එක ඇත්තටම exist වෙනවද? Whether existence is there or not. So then we have to calculate the risk to this level. We have to calculate the risk for this level, accession level. So then accession level, firstly we have to calculate what is that? Inherent risk, and then we have to calculate the control risk, inherent risk and the control risk. This inherent risk and the control risk will be discussed in the next slide. So then as a start, what you have to understand is, as an auditor, we have to calculate our risk to the accession level. So that is the understanding you have to get from this. අපි auditor කෙනෙක් විදියට financial statement level එකේ risk එක assess කරලා balance level එකෙන් නවතින්නේ අපි accession level එක දක්වාම risk එක evaluate කරනවා. අපි බලනවා balance එක හරිද කියන එකෙන් නවතින්නේ නැතුව අපි මේ accession එක තියද නැද්ද, valuation හරිද නැද්ද, completed හරිද නැද්ද කියන එක බලලා risk එක decide කරලා තමයි අපි procedures decide කරන්නේ. So then as auditor we have to evaluate the accession level risk for transaction account balances and disclosures, right? So then that is the main understanding you have to get from here once you are starting your risk assessment.